Hey, wake up.
Who are you?
You rang.
Oh, Mrs. Grubak is to bring me breakfast.
He wants Mrs. Grubak to bring him breakfast. It's impossible.
That is news to me. I am going to go out there and find out the people next door and how Mrs. Grubak can justify such a disturbance to me.
Would you rather stay here?
I'd rather not stay here and have you talk to me like this unless you are ready to introduce yourself to me properly.
I only meant well.
Better.
You should have stayed in bed because you are under arrest.
So it appears, but why?
Well, you will understand everything in due course. I am exceeding my instructions by talking to you in such a friendly way.
You know how true all this is in no time. Look at you.
Nice shirt.
Gentlemen, you can't do
But you have to put on a West one now.
Yeah, you are better off giving it to us
than leaving it at the depository.
There is a lot of licensee there.
Besides,
they sell the things within a certain period of time.
Regardless of whether the procedure in question has ended or not.
And trials like this take so long.
Particularly these days.
You are arresting the wrong
This is a nice
person.
shirt. I have to keep the shirt.
No. I have to keep the shirt. So you go in for the boxer shorts. The boxer shorts? Yes, the boxer shorts.
The boxer shorts?
Yes.
How can I go for the boxer shorts?
Gentlemen, have my identification paper.
No money? No money? You don't have money?
No, it's my passport. You know who
Your
I am.
passport, and so what? You think you can bring your whole damn trial to a quick conclusion by discussing your identity and arrest warrant with your guards? What? Besides, our department does not seek guilt. It is rather attracted by guilt, and that is the law. So
I don't know that law.
Civilian. He doesn't know the law. Yeah, he admits that he's innocent.
Of course.
you are right there. He doesn't seem to understand anything.
Oh, okay. Let me see your supervisor. Let me see your supervisor.
He wishes, but not now.
Why not now?
Now he wishes.
Better.
Hey, Joseph, I will see a supervisor dressed like this. He will have you flogged and alongside with us.
That's okay.
Now hurry up and wear something decent.
Hurry up.
Next time, take money. Take money. Joseph K.
Yes. Yes.
Of
course, I'm surprised, but not greatly surprised. Perhaps you misunderstand me. I mean, I can sit down. Oh, okay. Of course, I'm surprised. You see, but when you've been in this world for 30 years, you get hardened to surprises and don't take them too seriously. Particularly not today's. You see, I'm not saying everything here is a joke, but... No. What I'm trying to say is that the preparation involved seems far too extensive for that, so I'm not saying it's a joke.
Swine.
You see, the thing is, I can't seem to think of any particular reason of which I am arrested.
Mr. Kiawi. I'm going to let man
Of course, so who are you? Who is accusing me? And what authorities are in charge?
I don't know. You're under arrest, that's all I know. And stop making a fuss about how innocent you feel. It disturbs the otherwise not unfavorable impression you make.
That is absolutely senseless. You know what? Martin Amidou, the chief public prosecutor, is a very good friend of mine. Can I telephone him?
Of course you can, but I don't see any sense it makes unless you have other important matters you want to discuss with him. But if you still want to telephone him, it's going to cost you 10 Ghana cedi.
10 Ghana cedi?
15 cedi.
To telephone him?
20
No,
cedis.
with my own phone?
25 cedis.
Why? I mean, okay. I no longer wish to telephone him. That's okay.
No doubt you want to go to the bank.
To the bank? But I thought I was under arrest. How can I go to the bank if I am under arrest?
You misunderstood me. You're under arrest, yes. But that's not supposed to prevent you from carrying on your profession. Nor are you to be hidden in the course of your ordinary life.
So being under arrest isn't so bad.
I never said it was.
But the notification of arrest hardly seemed necessary for that.
I was only doing my duty.
A stupid duty, I guess. Okay, so I can go to work now, right? Right? Okay.
I have been waiting for you for such a long time.
I'll be leaving soon.
I will not see you again in such a late hour.
Fine.
Sit down.
I no longer wish for you to represent me.
Did I hear you correctly?
I assume so.
I understand. You are impatient.
Who is impatient? Who is impatient?
You are impatient!
I am not impatient!
Hey.
I never had as many worries as I did from the moment you began to represent me. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for you to take action, but nothing was done. I don't find that sufficient. And now, my own trial is positively closing on me in secret.
Even though you are a man under trial, you have been treated so well. It is better to be in chains than to be a free man. Now, I would like to show you how other defendants are treated. Oh, Block. Block.
Sir.
Who am I?
You're my lawyer, sir.
Then you must not listen to anyone, huh?
Yes, I don't go to listen to anybody.
Good. How have you behaved today?
I've been quite an industrial, sir.
And what have you been doing all day?
I've been sitting on the bed, going through the documents you gave me.
Oh, did you understand what you were reading?
No, sir, I couldn't understand. It was so difficult to understand.
Yes. It was meant to be so that you will understand the difficulties I go through in waging this battle on your behalf.
That's it.
Now, on whose behalf am I waging this battle? For Block! Quiet! Now, go for him.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay.
Men on Black, ladies and gentlemen.
That was just amazing.
And that's just a sneak peek of what we're going to experience all day today.
I'm just standing. This is like art at its best.
Yeah.
You know. Wow. Up close and personal, we shall be getting with them soon.
Yes.
You know, so when Jifa got to the office, right? She just saw them all wearing black, and then she went back. She was afraid something was happening.
I love black, though.
Oh, look at you. You know, she's afraid something was happening.
My favorite color is actually black.
No, they're just really amazing performers. You just watch. But they're good.
They're good. They're
strongly talented. Undoubtedly so.
Yes.
So we'll be talking to them shortly.
And there was a line in there that I really liked, and I think one of the characters said that when you've been in this world for 30 years, you get hardened to surprises. And it's an unfortunate thing, but I think as we get older, we just
the truth. It's true.
Go indifferent to things.
It's true. It's actually the truth.
Yeah.
You know, it's sadly the truth. It's sadly the truth. Let me put it that way. Sadly the truth. But anyway, good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Really excited. One of those days that the weather will do like it's come to rain. No, but you see, in the afternoon, you see what the sun will do.
Thank you guys so much for spending your Tuesday morning with us. As always, we are your lovely hosts, Jifa Ekia Amatam.
And Isaac Wilberforce Mensah.
And this is Breakfast Daily on City TV. We want to keep the conversation interactive, so do not forget to use the hashtag Breakfast Daily.
And of course, the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. 0550-585-832. Really important that, you know, most of us out there and in here should have the numbers by now. So we can interact more, you know, or easier. We can interact easier.
Exactly.
Anyway, so
now, we've been talking about this topic for a while, and I think it's a bit complex, especially now that we heard that the president has also added his voice to the conversation, which is the SHS, the formula we want to take, whether it's double, single. Can you explain exactly what it means so that all of us are on the same page?
So the double intake system is actually, or the double intake system initially was introduced as a multi-track system. It's a variation of the shift system that we were experiencing in this country decades ago.
What's multi-track?
Okay, so multi-track is the system where students are going to go to the same school in different batches. So
So use PRESEC as an example.
Let's use PRESEC as an example. But I want to start from the shift system, then we get to the multi-track.
Okay,
so
shift.
That we can
so what
see
was
a
the
difference.
Shift system?
Yeah. So the shift system was a system or a situation where you have some students go to school in the morning and others would go to school in the afternoons. Yes. Okay. So it also came with its challenges and the likes. And as a matter of good conscience and public policy, it was abolished. So we threw away the shift system. More schools were built, and then everyone was allowed to go to school.
So the original shift system was in a way that, let's say 50 students will go to school in the morning.
Yes.
And then the remaining 50
exactly.
will go. So maybe 8 to 2, and then the rest will come in, or maybe 8 to 12, then 1 to 4.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Okay, that was the shift system.
Fantastic. That was the shift system.
But it didn't work. So
the shift system had its challenges. So it had its peculiar challenges. So it was not working. So as a matter of policy and good direction, we decided to change the shift system to the regular system that we've been used to for decades now. The regular system, you go to school, let's say, at 8 a.m. and then you close, let's say, 2 p.m., you know, for basic school and even for secondary school. That's for everybody.
Okay.
But then we introduced the free SHS, and then we are expecting a 31%, calculatively, about a 31% increase in the number of students that will be enrolled in these schools. Okay. So the schools available currently will not be able to support the system, will not be able to support or cater for all these students that are making it to secondary school.
If they stick to the regular system.
If they stick to the regular system, it would not be possible.
Okay.
So then government has now introduced the double intake system, which was announced by the president himself, announced this. So we shall be playing the video. Yes. So what happens is that during the double intake system, what will happen is that you will have about 4 terms. Initially, right now at secondary schools, we have 3 terms. So first term, then you break for about a month or 2, then you go for your second term, then there's a third term. But now what's going to happen is that they will have about 4 terms now. So 2 terms per batch. So if we have, for instance, 400 people going to PRESEC, okay. If we have about 400 people going to PRESEC, what's going to happen is that we will divide them into 200. 200 each. Okay. So we'll have 2 streams of 200. So what's going to happen is that the 4 terms, the 200 will not go for the 4 terms. They'll go for 2 terms each. So if I go to school, I'm part of the first 200. I go for my first term, or it will be a semester now. So I go for my first semester, then I vacate. When I vacate, immediately I vacate, another batch of students will go for their first semester.
Does that mean you will vacate for a longer period of time?
That's exactly what it means now. So the vacations are going to be longer.
But what will the students be doing during the vacation? Because for me, I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that maybe first term the vacations are shorter, second term shorter, and then the long vac is the third term. Yes, but now you're going to have 2 long vacations. Now you're going to have 3, right? Or
yes, you're going to have 2 vacations, more or less. Or even in a year, okay, you're going to have 2 vacations in a year, because during your vacations there'll be other students there.
Exactly.
So that's exactly what's going to happen.
So if you go to school, let's say you go to school, let's say a semester is 3 months. The 3 months that you're in school, I will be home.
You'll be home.
And then when you're home, I'll be in school.
Exactly. So that's what's going to happen now.
Okay.
So I think before we move on, we'll just play the video of the president announcing same, and the fact that also about 8,000 teachers shall be employed to facilitate the system. So let's take a quick look at the video.
The system, according to government, is to make room to admit more students, reduce class size, and increase contact hours. It will be semester-based. Each batch will be in school for specific days per a semester. While the first stream is in school, the second will be on vacation. They resume classes when the first stream is also on vacation. The new system is expected to cost 323 million Ghana cedis to fully implement. President Akufo-Addo says the system, which is an intervention to address the growing number of students benefiting from the free senior high school policy, will also reduce the number of holidays for students.
And we have found a way to be able to absorb this intake. We call it the dual intake system that is going to allow us on a semester basis to address the challenge of this new population. We're doing it by, first of all, expanding the numbers of teachers. We're recruiting over 8,000 more teachers for the secondary schools this year than we had last year. And then we are going to employ a double-track school calendar system. The objectives of the double-track system are, one, that it will create room to accommodate the increase in enrollment. It will reduce class sizes, it will increase the contact hours, as well as increase the number of holidays. And all this is going to be achieved with the existing infrastructure.
Though government view this as an intervention, the National Association of Graduate Teachers has raised major concerns. According to the association's president, Angel Kabunu, there are complications that need to be addressed.
It is a system that has several complications, and all those complications will have to be addressed. For me as a union leader, my interest is to protect the working condition of my members. The number of hours that they teach, the workload that they engage in, so that at the end of the day, my teachers do not become the sacrificial lamb for free senior high school by way of getting more students into the schools. Two, the infrastructure situation in the country currently. Is it capable of handling a two-track system? Over the year, if we were dealing with 1,000 students within 1 year, we are now going to deal with 2,000 students within 1 year. We talk about the pressure on infrastructure. And when infrastructure collapses, it has a direct implication on teaching and learning. So these are issues that we need to address.
So, Wilberforce, I have a few questions for you, and I hope you can answer them for me. I don't understand. Okay, so people have even talked about our student-to-teacher ratio.
Exactly.
That's the first issue I have with this model. The second one is, what are the students going to do? Right? Some people have even championed that students should be in school for longer hours so that they're engaged. I myself know that while I was a student, I studied hard when school was in session, and then when we go for vacations, I'll literally watch movies all day long and just not be productive. So by the time we get back to school, I'm not, I'm behind, and I have to work 2 times harder to get back on track. Yes. And now we are here where some students will have to work while they're on the vacation, and at such a young age, if a student gets introduced to money, they might find it beneficial. Yes. I'm not saying this is for all students to make money than go to school. So what are the consequences of all of this?
So you're perfectly right. I mean, this speaks to the numerous disadvantages that the system will clearly come with. I don't see any advantage at all in the students being at
saving
home.
Money
for the government,
so we'll get to
Ghanaians. That. I think that's to me the salient advantage, which we'll get to. But then the fact is that, so I want us to talk about the demerits first before we even go into the merits of this system. Okay. So the demerits are, or include the fact that you mentioned rightfully so, that students will be home for longer. So let's say it's 1 year. We're dividing it into 4 terms. So within these 4 terms, let's say 3 months. So the first 3 months I'm in school. The next 3 months I'm going to sit at home while someone is in school. So when I'm in school, I may get good teaching, because it's true. There will be fewer people per class now. Yeah. It's true. That one is true. So that's why the argument of frequency of contact would be more, because the teacher is now dealing with fewer people in the class. But we've not thought about the fact that, or not thought, thought about the fact that students, the teacher dealing with those few students has other things to deal with. There are other things that will come to the system. You're employing 8,000 new teachers, about 8,000 new teachers. But then you're expecting about 185,000 new entrants into the system. Because, yes, you're expecting about 185,000 new
students to teachers.
You see? So that's also an argument. I mean, these teachers will be specialized in various fields. So at a secondary school, you will not have maybe one teacher teaching everything. So we can't make the math that, okay, let's divide 8,000 by 135. It's a bit more complicated than that, because one teacher may be teaching, let's say, physics and chemistry, and that's all the teacher teaches. And other teachers may be teaching other things. But then, even if we are supposed to do a simplistic division of about 185,000 divided by about 8,000, you're looking at close to about 200 students per teacher, over 200 students per teacher, which is not very ideal.
Yeah.
So that goes to the simplistic argument, or the simplistic calculation for that matter. So the issue about teacher to student ratio may not necessarily be solved in that direction.
Wow.
And the complaints are coming from no less than Njoka Bono, who's the president of NAGAT. Now the president of NAGAT is saying that, look, we are perceiving a lot of challenges. This might be a good short-term solution for you as a government, but we are going to be the ones to suffer.
Because
we, the teachers, are going
suffering.
to be the ones to suffer. Exactly. The teacher-to-student ratio is not very commendable as it stands right now. Wow. So I don't know, maybe 8,000 teachers should move to about 18,000 teachers. Let's employ more teachers into the system if we are going to do this. Yes, sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, beyond the teachers, now let's look at the perspective of the parent. So if I have 3 children in high school, right, or in secondary school, now they are going to be home. Right, when one is home, one is not home.
Exactly.
How am I? Do I get extra tutors? Do I have the means to do
so,
that? What am I going to be doing
yeah.
with my children? Assuming my husband and I both have to go to work, what's going to happen in the home?
So indirectly, so if you want your child to be more successful, children at that age are not automatically going to study without being pushed. Generally, of course, there'll be outliers, but then generally without being pushed. So you have to get a studies teacher for your child during the 3 months that the child will be at home.
How many parents can afford that?
So
honestly?
Indirectly, you may not be paying free SHS to government, but you're paying to a private person. So
how are we going to survive?
There'll still be secondary school paying in a way. So that's also something we need to look at. So being at home also, if you don't study, if you're going to be at home for 3 months, a whole passive tabula rasa may set in, where your brain will become blank again.
Yeah.
So when you go to school, everything that you're learning seems afresh. And it doesn't happen to only children, even adults. When you stay away from the system for a while, you know, half of the things probably I learned at uni are not still here.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you've been away from the study environment for a while. That's just how it is. So a child being at home for 3 months may not be the ideal situation. And there's also issues of infrastructure. The fact that the children are going to use the same material, the same equipment, the same everything, you know, will be a burden on. So let's say, for instance, a book. The books in the library, or the books that may be given to students to use in class. So you've entered PSEC science class, then they have given each student an integrated science textbook. So when you finish, then you drop the book for the afternoon shift to come in, or the next term students will also come and use these same books. Clearly, the books are going to be destroyed earlier, twice as fast as initially they were getting destroyed. So then it means that a bit of money will have to be pumped into
resources,
getting these books twice as often as initially we used to do. Now, we're going to do this. The procurement people in the schools going to get access to these new books as and when they demand, or things are going to drag a bit. So then there's also the cost-benefit analysis, which is also very important, which is the main reason why government may be doing this. Also, there's the issue of, so we have a lot of students coming into the system. What are we going to do? We can't build schools in 2 days. Okay, free SHS, we want every child to be educated. We want to create an equal playing field. So there's the issue of quality of education over, you know, general
quantity,
education.
Yeah.
Good. But then the arguments from government is that, okay, so we want every child to be educated. Then we are creating a fair playing field for every child. You have a level of education. Then if you work very hard, a child in a village who would not have ordinarily gone to school has good education, and if he works very hard, may shoot to a position which ordinarily he would not have had access to because his parents don't have money or whoever. So now, that's fair. It's a good argument. It's fair. Now, you have created a system where you don't have enough schools for these people, and you can't build a school in 2 days, like I already said. And these students that you have given free SHS to need to go to the schools. And if we are going to invest ordinarily like the way the system was intended, government would have spent about 1.2 billion on same. Now, if they do the double intake system per the country's calculation, it would be, they'll spend about 3.2 billion on this. So they would have saved about a quarter. They would have saved, about 3/4 what they initially would have used for same. So it's very important that we look at government's argument and say that, okay, so this appears to be the only solution for now. We can't build a school in a few days. This appears to be the only solution for now. So maybe we should bear with them. However, there's also the strong argument of what created the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
The free SHS may have been put out a bit too soon.
But let me ask you, what about just going back to the 4-year system where we can say, let's give ourselves 1 year to build the necessary infrastructure and keep these students in school for 4 years. Then they go on to college. What's wrong with going back to that system?
I think the 3-year, 4-year system in secondary school, we have toyed with students' lives a bit too much in that direction. We have overplayed with the lives of Ghanaian students, you know, because you are confused at any point in time. A parent does not know, okay, so if I send my child to school, is a new government going to come and change it to 4 years? There's always that confusion.
At least with this one, you know that, one, we're giving you free education. We are asking you for 1 more year so that we can build the necessary infrastructure. If the issue now is just infrastructure for the students, perhaps that might work. What I'm worried about is, and people have said this, and it's very wrong, talking about girls getting pregnant. I don't think that's true. But these are teenagers.
I think that's a terrible argument. I don't even want to
it's extremely sexist. They are teenagers at that age. They can be influenced, right? When I say influence, I'm not even talking about sexual. I'm talking about money and, you know, I have friends who started working when they were 14 years old, right? But they knew that once school is in session, I'm going back to school, so I'm only working for 2 months. Now, if you're staying at home at this for an equal amount of time that you're staying in school, then, you know, you might defer and be like, okay, maybe I'll go with the next batch, right? And then I don't know the consequences to all these decisions. And that's what I'm personally worried about, because I know myself when I was younger, you, as a child, you need that, you need that continuity. I don't
you know what's even funny about the whole situation? It's that, so I can say, okay, so I went to PRESEC, or I was a student in PRESEC in 2019. You know, which year did you complete PRESEC? I completed PRESEC in 2020, but I don't know you. Yeah. Do you understand? We are reportedly finished in the same year, but we have no idea. Our friends don't know each other. So it creates a bit of a confusion. So we have to look necessarily at, you know, maybe we need to take a second look at the free SHS system. Maybe we need to adopt the means testing.
What's that?
The means testing is we need to find a way, a mechanism to determine that, you know what, this student can pay, this student cannot pay. Because there are many people out there who are saying that, you know what, I can afford to pay for my child.
How will that fix the problem?
Yeah,
because they're still going to have overcrowding, no?
Well, that's true, but then at least the money that would have been used to pay my child's fees could have been used to improve the infrastructural system in the country.
True. Okay, exactly. So the saving money bit.
The saving money bit is very important, because right now you have the likes of Dr. Mantiao, and I mean no less than Dr. Mantiao speaking about the head of PIAC, Public Interest and Accountability Committee, saying that, you know what, the oil revenue is a lot of it is being channeled into free SHS and the like. So we know it's expensive. We know it's necessary.
It's a necessary
to pay for those who can't pay for, but it's a bit expensive. So let's pay for those who can't pay for, and not just pay for everyone. Maybe. Let's just take a look at that.
But thank you for clarifying it, because I think when we talk about it, it can go over our heads like double triple, multi-track. So it's important for us to actually have clarity, then move forward. And we want to hear from you at home, right, or in the office, or wherever you are right now. Let us know what you think. Is the multi-track the way to go? Double track, single track?
Multi-track, single track.
All the tracks. And is it justifiable that we have to do this to save money?
Yes.
And if
you've had a bit of the pros and the cons, so
if that's the case too, perhaps we might build more community centers, right? So that
during the breaks,
they are engaged. We want to hear from you. Don't forget to use the hashtag breakfast daily and the WhatsApp line
0550-585-832.
Do not go anywhere. News Review is next.
regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
The City FM Literacy Challenge is back. Are you a JHS student? Are you willing to contribute to change? What would you do if you were the president of Ghana? Do you want to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis? If yes, then participate in the Literacy Challenge 2018. Level 1. The year is 2035. The law allows people below age 40 to contest the presidency. As a presidential candidate in a general election, in no less than 600 words, write your manifesto speech. Remember, letter must be in your own handwriting, must be endorsed by a parent or guardian. Add your full contact details and post to the Literacy Challenge, P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central, or drop it off at the front desk of City FM at the Braka behind the police station. Level 2, the top 50 students selected from all over Ghana shall take a written general knowledge quiz. And finally, level 3, the top 10 students shall compete in the classic quiz competition to win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. The Literacy Challenge is powered by 97.3 City FM and sponsored by Data Bank Edifund and MoneyGram with support from City TV. Closing date for entries is Friday, 10th August 2018. Call 0205-973-973 for more inquiries. Terms and conditions apply.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Okay,
welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Thank you guys so much for spending your morning with us. Now we're just going to delve right into the news review.
Yeah, starting with
the Ghanaian Times. So
okay, the Ghanaian Times says here that President nominates Jean Mensah as EC boss, also nominates 2 deputies, 1 member. Okay, so the full story is on page 17 this morning of the Ghanaian Times. Also, don't re-engage IMF for support, TUC to government. And free SHS enrollment for 2018. Government opts for double intake system. New entrants to run semester system. And finally, police hunts for board chairman, directors of Accent Bank for 10 million Ghana cedis fraud.
On to the Daily Graphic. Jean Mensah named EC chair. 3 commissioners nominated. NDC reacts. That story is on page 3. SHS double intake starts in September. That is coming from our president. And MTN hands over maternity block to Tema Hospital. That is on the back page of the Daily Graphic.
Okay, the New Crusading Guide says, let's see, Jean Mensah is EC boss. The full story is on page 3 and page 10 this morning of the New Crusading Guide, as well as Don't Gazette Otino as Simpe Manche. Simpe's 2 elders warns House of Chiefs. The full story is on page 10. Now, NDC rejects EC boss, describes her nomination as scary and lawless. We'll be talking about this story very, very shortly. And Ghana, India signs MOU on technical and cultural cooperation. So that's what we have this morning on the front page of the New Crusading Guide.
Now on to the Chronicle. Muntaka doctored evidence, says Kennedy. but he apologizes to Parliament. That story is on page 3. Jean Mensah is new EC boss. That is also in the Chronicle, and Efia Tange at Chronicle. That story is on page 14. Yes.
Okay. Let's take a look at the Today newspaper. Midland customers angry. Storm Shiashi branch
as
for
they should.
Their monies. Yeah, they should be very angry. My IEA boss named as new EC chair. The Today newspaper. IEA boss named as new EC chair. Full story on page 3 this morning. Beautiful picture of Madam Jean Adokwe Mensah, EC chairperson nominee. Now, don't mine bauxite in Tua Forest. IDCO to government. Full story is on page 4 this morning. And finally, MTN builds Tema maternity ward at a cost of 5.5 million cedis.
Now on to the custodian. Akufo-Addo dribbles all as IEA's Jean Mensah replaces sacked Charlotte Osei. That story is on page 2 of the custodian. NPP charges police to be professional. The story is on page 2. And fall army worm returns. Over 300 farms invaded in UE. That story is on page 7.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Finder. The Finder this morning is saying that 2 women, 2 men get EC top job. The full story is on page 2 this morning of the Finder. And also, government interventions put 5.4 billion in pockets of Ghanaians. This is coming from the Vice President. Now, let's take a look at the... Okay, there's another story here, really, really interesting. IDCO opposes bauxite mining in Etua Forest. And also, Republic Bank begins renounceable rights issue to raise minimum capital. That's on page 10 this morning of the Finder. And finally, Jean Mensah is anti-NDC. Oh, sorry, Jean Mensah is anti-NDC. It's coming from Isiedu Nketia. The full story is on page 2. We'll take a look at why the General Secretary of the NDC feels Jean Mensah, the new EC chair nominee, is indeed anti-NDC.
Okay, now on to the Daily Heritage. New EC boss is pro-NPP. That is coming from the NDC. And the story is on page 3. Oponi trial. Lawyers take on CRIG boss over alleged deceit. Now, CRIG is the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana. Yes.
Okay. So
there's another, yes,
okay,
so
there's
BNFT.
Business and Financial Times.
Yeah, so we're just going to quickly do the Business and Financial Times. AGI delegation pays courtesy call on BNFT. BOG stays policy rate on inflation scare. That is on page 2. And African Airlines must consolidate or die. That story is also on page 2. And finally, wage bill hits 14 billion Ghana cedis. Takes 45% of tax revenue in 2017. Story is also on page 2.
Okay, so I think we can go straight to introducing our guest for today. Okay, so we have been joined by Kujakuto Boateng. Kujakuto Boateng is the head of research at City FM and City TV. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Day.
Good morning.
It's always an honor to have you. Very insightful.
And it's always great to be here, especially, and it's better to watch you on TV.
Okay, we've also been joined by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram. Honourable Sam George has joined us in the studio this morning. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily.
A very good morning to you.
Good to see you again.
It's a pleasure. My
How
first
are
time
you?
on your show. Yes.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful set you have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we'll go straight to the SHS saga, double intake issues.
Yes, so I'm reading from the Daily Graphic. It says, from September this year, the government will implement the double intake system for new entrants into the public senior high schools. That's coming from the president. He says, despite the system, he explained, will be a measure to address a growing number of students benefiting from the free SHS policy. So it's really meant to help, you know, the pressure on the schools will decrease if we are able to implement this double intake system. Now, before you both arrived, we were talking about the pros and cons of it. So, Kojo, your initial reaction, is this the best solution to the issue?
I would not say it's the best solution.
But it's the
Neither would I say it's not a good solution. But if you followed our discussions and conversations based on the facts and figures available, it's obvious that consistently we've not really invested in infrastructure for education. From the lowest level all the way to the highest level, we've not consistently invested in infrastructure. So and the government knows, the politicians knows, they all know, all the successive governments, they know this. So it's up to us to look at the numbers, look at the available infrastructure, the funds available as well, and have a perfect mix that will give us the goods we are looking for. We are here because we failed to do the right thing.
What would have been the right thing?
The right thing, consistently investing in infrastructure for the schools. Look, you have, say, around 800 senior high schools, both public and private. And you have a population of about 1.2 million. You are looking at, these are per our calculations, you are looking at average number of students per school of about 1,500. And these numbers keep increasing. If you look at the work the Ghana Statistical Service has done, the Ministry of Education has done, you realize that every year the numbers increase. But if not increased the infrastructure to meet the demand. That's why we are where we are now. So we can do double track, but is this something we want to do in the long term? If it's a short-term measure, what are we going to do to ensure that within the next few years we provide the infrastructure we need to ensure that we fix the system the way we want to? So two questions for me. Is the government proposing double track as a long-term fix for senior high school education, or we are proposing it as a short-term fix whilst we look for a long-term solution? Now, whilst we look at senior high school, we should also be thinking about the tertiary institutions. Look at all the polytechnics and all the universities. Even with the private universities we don't have enough space to accommodate all the students. Should we improve on the quality of education, and should we get a lot more students passing to the tertiary level? So that challenge is there. So we need to look at all those parameters and the data available to aid in planning, so that in the long term, we find a solution that is right for our national development agenda.
Okay, thank you. Now, Honorable, before I come to you, the President said, despite providing over 96,000 monodesk, over 33,000 pieces of dining hall furniture, and 3,033 tables and chairs for teachers, 12,953 bunk beds, and 4,335 student mattresses, as well as 5,135 computer laboratory chairs to address the infrastructural deficit over the year, it has not been enough to address all the infrastructure issues. So it looks as though the government is still trying to solve this infrastructure issue. But is the double intake what are your views on the double intake?
Let me say a very good morning to yourselves, Kojo, and then our viewers, and the good people of Dingo Pram Pram. I'm just going to state this as bluntly as I can. If we're not careful, politicians are going to be the bane of the development of this country. We have chosen to play partisanship with everything, including education.
Yeah.
The president cannot be absolved of wrongdoing in the problems that we face. We had a national discourse on free senior high school. Free senior high school is a constitutional mandate. The NDC at the time, under John Dramani Mahama, decided that the roadmap to implementing the free senior high school was to build access first and have infrastructure. because a natural consequence of free senior high school will be increased intakes and increased numbers. The NPP at the time, under then candidate Akufo-Addo, decided that the roadmap to it was an immediate rollout. Now, at the time, in 2012, going into 2016, John Mahama won and started with the infrastructure bit of it. In 2015-2016 academic year, he started a limited rollout of the free senior high school, where about 10,560 children were put on a government scholarship of some sorts that took care of all of their basic needs. So basically, the free SHS was rolled out in a phased manner, while we were looking at building the infrastructure. To build the infrastructure, we looked at building 200 community-day senior high schools. Now, he loses, or the NDC loses the elections in 2016. At the time we lost the elections, 77 of the 200 schools had been either completed or were over 90% complete. So it meant that you had 77 community-day senior high schools that were available. In fact, in the last academic year, those 77 senior high schools had children placed in them by the computerized school placement system. There are 123 of the schools that were below states of completion that you could move the children into. But some of them, about another 46, were between 40% and 80% complete. On the altar of partisanship, that entire program has been put on hold by this government for 19 months. In fact, the turnaround time for the construction of those buildings was 18 months. So it then means that we would have had 200 completed senior high schools. 123 would have been completed by this academic year if we had not played politics of saying, these are NDC projects, we're not going to put money in them. So we've left those projects to rot in whatever states in which they were. And it's not just happening in the education sector, it's happening across board. Now you have a problem where you finish the first stream. The second stream is coming in. Now, where are you going to put them? The issue of access has come back to bite us. So if we were a country that thinks and not just talks, one president has started an infrastructure drive. When another president comes in, he has his own vision. But we must not abrogate the first vision, especially if that first vision ties into the achievements of the second vision. So yes, President Nana Addo wants to see as many Ghanaian children go into senior high schools. Fantastic dream. I will never fault him on that. But where are you going to put those Ghanaian children? President Mahama started building the classrooms for them. So when you come in, finish the buildings. But if you finish the buildings, they'll be called Mahama schools. So because of the partisanship, we will not finish those buildings. And we are faced with the problems that we have now. Kojo raises another very important issue. Let's find a way of doing double stream, which will definitely affect quality of education. Because you're not going to double the number of teachers that you have.
Well, they're increasing them.
You may say you would increase, but you see, you are doubling the numbers of students. Even if you increase the number of teachers by 50%, which I doubt will happen. One, because it has consequences for the wage bill. Don't forget that as we speak now, wages alone takes 56% of all of government revenue. And one of the biggest ticket items in our wage bill is teachers. We have over 260,000 Ghanaian teachers at the moment. Increasing that to even 350,000 has huge ramifications for the wage bill. In the just presented media review, there is no allocation in that for increased number of teachers. If Parliament hasn't approved payment for increased number of teachers, you can't employ them. So it means that this year, except the finance minister is going to be disrespecting Parliament and breaching the Constitution, he has no spending limit to pay any new teachers. And the first term of this year of the next academic year is happening this year. So I don't see how new teachers will be employed this year. It then means that you're going to have a challenge with teachers who are going to have to do both streams this year, at least for this year. Now, the major issue is we're churning out all of these senior high school graduates. Which universities are they going to go to? You see, we're not thinking. So we are passing everybody from junior high school into senior high school. Great. We don't want them to be dropouts there. Do we then want them to be dropouts at the senior high school level? What is the long-term roadmap that those who went into free senior high school last year and are going to Form 2 now, in the next 2 years, there will need to be lecture theatres in Legon, in Tech, in all the various universities to accommodate them?
Well, we have teacher training institutions, right? So not everybody might want
currently,
to go to
currently, you have about 300,000 children exiting SHS, and you have only about 120,000 slots if you put all the private, public, and ancillary tertiary institutions, be it teacher training colleges, colleges of agric, you have less than 50% room for those who are currently in the system. You are increasing those who are in the system. It means that the available slots are going to drop to even less than 25%. Are we thinking? No, we are not. We're playing politics.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do a bit of fact-checking with what Sam George is saying. So let's start with the infrastructure. There's a secondary education improvement program, which the Mahama administration signed on to build 200 senior high schools. So that was partly funded by the World Bank. Now, I know that this government has also signed onto the secondary education improvement program, I think a different phase of it. So a continuation of the program.
Okay.
Now, if the government's plan was to, excuse me, not feeling too well, so.
It's okay. But quickly, does this mean that they are going to continue the projects? Is that what that means?
Yes, in essence,
okay,
secondary
so
education improvement program must continue.
Okay.
So more infrastructure, more inputs to increase access and quality of education.
Okay.
Now, I think that what we did wrong with the 200 senior high schools was to attempt to create access by putting some of the schools in areas that ended up being not too accessible. For example, if you are building community-day senior high schools and computer placement places Kojo from Nkranza to a community-day senior high school in the Ashanti region, what good have you done to me? It means that I'll still have to find some form of accommodation. So the solution wasn't complete. We didn't really think through the solution to ensure that we delivered the goods to the people. If we have community day senior high schools, we should have placement for people close to the schools. But this is a case people don't want to go to certain schools. Everybody wants to go to the grade A schools, the grade B schools, the grade C schools. So we should really look at the infrastructure and the underlying choices that people make when it comes to these things. Because most of these schools are there. Some of them are there. They are not being used to the optimum level because one, student would not want to go there, and two, if you are posted there, it's a community-day senior high school with no accommodation, so you have to find your own accommodation. I think that's a big challenge. So in looking at fixing the infrastructure, we must fix the infrastructure to meet specific needs, not to create another bottleneck. Now,
so what you're saying is that the computerized placement does not work well with the community day schools.
You will agree with me, Sam. You would agree with me that some people were posted to community day schools
in a community that were not theirs.
Yeah. So in essence, you'd have to go find accommodation. Now, if the school fees is free, and people are going to boarding schools and they are paying, they are getting it for free, what's the motivation for me to allow my child to go to a community day senior high school and spend extra money to find them accommodation?
Quickly, what about those who have made the argument that we should just scrap the boarding school altogether and just focus on making
you cannot just scrap boarding school.
Why?
And it's look, when we started education in this country, we had just a few schools. People from all the corners of the country needed education. And if you lived in Kumasi and you wanted to come to Presec, you had no relatives here. How are you going to come to Presec? So the boarding system, you know, let's treat education as a real estate problem. Right. If you look at the McDonald's and all, what they do is to sell food, but their core work is real estate and logistics. If we treated education like that, then we'd know the things we needed. It's not just having the teachers and the blackboards and the books. It's about finding people places to live, proper sanitary conditions.
Yes. So knowing the problem you have outlined, would a better solution then not have been probably to move them from community days by simply building maybe dormitories on or close to these campuses?
And let me just come in there. You see, if you take any of the community day senior high schools that were built, you realize that the acreage of land that was acquired for these senior high schools, in fact, it became an issue, a political issue. That why was government taking so much land? It's because there was a long-term view by the Mahama administration. You're starting out with community day senior high schools, but eventually you have the land secured for both teachers' bungalows and dormitories. If you wanted to build boarding houses, dormitories immediately, the cost of the project would have affected the numbers we could roll out with and the need for us to have a community day senior high school. So with long-term planning, medium to long-term planning, we secure the land, we build the community day senior high schools, and then, as government is done with the first 200, the next phase of it will be to now begin to make this community day senior high schools over a period of years boarding facilities by using the GET fund and all that things to build the dormitories in there. So then you realize that over maybe a 5 to 10 year period, as a country, we would end up having a shift from all of these community day senior high schools to the boarding schools. Now, the question you raise about everybody not wanting their child to go to a community day senior high school but go to certain schools has been one of the key arguments we've made with the free senior high school. Why do you want to give everybody free senior high school? We have grade A schools, we have grade B schools, we have grade C schools. This is known. I mean, the schools are graded. Why do we want to have everybody who goes to a grade A school get it for free when their parents can pay? If you want your child to go to a grade A school, government will not subsidize a grade A school education. You want your child to go there, you must be willing to pay for it. And there are Ghanaians who will pay for it. You want your child to enjoy the grade B. Grade B does not necessarily mean that the quality of tutelage there is worse off. It is simply the prestige. The grading is about prestige and how long the school has been there. So a Presec, an Achimota, I mean, they produce presidents, they produce, an Opoku Warriors produce presidents. That is what makes it a grade A school. It is not that they have facilities that the grade Bs don't have. Because if you take some of the grade B schools, take the National Science and Maths quiz. Some of the schools that have won are graded as grade B. You understand me? So at the end of the day, it is not necessarily an issue of the quality of tutelage, but it's more a matter of prestige. My child went to this school. If you want to pay for prestige, who says that if I drive a Beetle, I can't drive from my house in Tesano to this place? It will bring me here. But if I want the prestige of driving in a Rolls Royce, I will pay more for the brand name. So if I want to have the brand name, I must be willing to pay more. I can't expect the taxpayer to pick up the tab for that. So we cannot have. Let me just lie. You cannot have a blanket. Look, it is unsustainable. It is completely unsustainable as a country, and the country is beginning to bleed. I sit in Parliament. We're looking at the books. Government is exceeding all of its revenue targets. We're making and government is setting extremely high benchmarks for itself. So when government says that it wants to increase revenue by 30%, that is almost unheard of anywhere. We increased revenue this year by 16%, which is fantastic. But still there's a big gaping hole. Why? Because we are not cutting our cloth according to our material. We want to cut our cloth according to our size. You have a material. Your material is 4 yards. So if I'm a big person and 4 yards can only sew a short and a short sleeve dress for me, that is what I must sew. I must not want to sew a trouser and a long sleeve because Kojo is wearing a trouser and a long sleeve. I must look at the material I have and not look at my size. Then the last issue on the SAFE, the Secondary Education Improvement Project, which Kojo spoke about. It is not necessarily a continuation. And don't forget that this same SAFE project is what the MPP scoffed at under the NDC and called the sanitary pad loan. You remember that? Yeah. When we brought that facility in, the World Bank facility, they called it a sanitary pad loan. So when the Minister for Education brought the phase 2 to Parliament, we laughed at him. We said, are you bringing more sanitary pads? Because you see, it's come back to bite them. That's what we're talking about, the politics. But the SAFE is only supposed to cover 23 of the 200 senior high schools. Only 23. And then a chunk of the money for the SAFE is actually going into what we thought should be the senior high school. Targeting the most vulnerable students. How do you target the most vulnerable students? Today in Ghana, we have a database of the most vulnerable people in our country, thanks to the LEAP project started by President Kufuor, the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty project. It gives us a database of the most vulnerable people in Ghana, people who are orphaned, or who have one parent deceased, or who have one parent disabled. We have those children there. And that is the 10,000 I spoke about, who were put on government scholarship. And their fees were not just paid for, but they were actually given money. The girls were given money for sanitary towels, for personal hygiene. The boys and girls were given money to be able to buy a meal when they go home, because they were supposed to be in community day schools. So they were given cash stipends every month to ensure that they didn't get hungry and they could take care of their hygiene needs. It is all covered under this Secondary Education Improvement Project. So if we were focusing on improving, LEAP today covers almost 600,000 people. So if you look at the children from those families and decide to put those children first, on the free senior high school, it reduces the burden on government at this point in time. You take care of the most vulnerable. Okay. And then gradually, as we are able to find revenue to support a larger group, then you expand the reach of the free senior high school. But wanting to do a blanket size thing, it's going to collapse.
Yeah, what I wanted to react to was the prestige bit. Look, if you look at data, if you do an audit of infrastructure and the facilities available in grade A schools, grade B, grade C, it's not just about prestige. When I was at Kumasi High School, we used to be a grade B school. And we had to go for science practicals in different schools. Now, the toll of having to drive to a different school.
And the difference would be the grade A?
Yeah, because you didn't have your own science lab. You didn't have some of the key things. So the conversation about grade A schools, grade B, grade C, is not just about the prestige, but about the available teaching and learning materials and the resources that would improve your quality. So when we talk about some of these things, let's ask ourselves how we can improve quality across board. If you are doing community senior high schools, who are the members of the school management committee? How involved are the communities in ensuring that the school lives up to expectation? And it should cut across board from the primary level to senior high school level, even to the university levels, because in some countries, in some cities, universities actually transform how things are done and the economy of certain cities. We usually end up talking about access and give out those figures about, oh, we put 400,000. It's great. Look, without free senior high school, people would just drop out from junior high school with very little to help them survive. Senior high school tops them up and adds more value to them. It's great, but beyond that, let's look at the quality of education, how we are resourcing these people, because in the global space now, it's not just about the raw materials you have or the resources you have as a country. It's about competitiveness of human resource. So it's great to talk about the fact that people would not want to go to the other schools because of prestige, but it's not just about prestige. We should ask ourselves what makes certain schools grade B or grade C, and what makes parents and students not want to go to certain schools. Once we ask ourselves that and ensure that the resources are equitably distributed across board, and then the quality is equitably distributed, maybe things will change.
Okay, I think we can go for a quick break now.
Yes, but before that, let's read a few of your messages. Ben T. says, our education system is useless because anybody can come and implement whatever he wants. And our educationists are supporting this. Can Ghana manage its own affairs? No. Another submission from Apari says, this argument of asking people who can afford to pay for the awards SHS education is a non-starter. How do you determine who can afford and who cannot? Parents who are rich can always send their awards to private schools. This is an innovative idea, and I think we should all help make it work. It's worked in many countries. Let me just read another one. Here says, this new education system is bad for SHS students. I'm not sure government took into consideration the monies parents have to pay to engage private teachers during such long vacations. The better alternative could be to involve the private sector, just as we have done for the NHIS. Present the government budget and specification to the private schools so they can help expand the student intake. In so doing, you will be employing more teachers and Ghana will have value for money. Engaging the private sector will reduce overcrowding. It will help bring government to access the public schools, and the public schools will improve teacher-student ratio. Yes, so I think that's a mouthful. We have a lot more messages, but I think we'll read them
we'll come back
after the break. So do not forget, keep the comments coming with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line.
The WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. So keep the messages coming. It's still Breakfast Daily. It's News Review. Stay tuned.
The City FM Literacy Challenge is back. Are you a JHS student? Are you willing to contribute to change? What would you do if you were the president of Ghana? Do you want to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis? If yes, then participate in the Literacy Challenge 2018. Level 1. The year is 2035. The law allows people below age 40 to contest the presidency. As a presidential candidate in a general election, in no less than 600 words, write your manifesto speech. Remember, letter must be in your own handwriting, must be endorsed by a parent or guardian, add your full contact details, and post to the Literacy Challenge, P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central, or drop it off at the front desk of City FM at the Braka behind the police station. Level 2. The top 50 students selected from all over Ghana shall take a written general knowledge quiz. And finally, Level 3. The top 10 students shall compete in the classic quiz competition to win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. The Literacy Challenge is powered by 97.3 City FM and sponsored by Data Bank Edifund and MoneyGram with support from City TV. Closing date for entries is Friday, 10th August 2018. Call 0205-973-973 for more inquiries. Terms and conditions apply.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
it's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Okay, welcome back to News Review segment for Breakfast Daily. And of course, remember the hashtag is Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms, and 0550-585-832 via WhatsApp. So we shall read a few of your messages that you've sent through.
Yes. Before the break, we were discussing the double intake of free SHS. And so we received a bunch of messages from you, but I think a lot of these messages are concerning the EC appointment, which is what we're going to talk about next.
To the EC appointment. Jean Mensah is EC boss. Beyond that, other appointments are Dr. Eric Asai Bosman, Miss Adjoa Isioma Brefa, and of course not forgetting Mr. Samuel Tete. So these are the names that have been mentioned for the EC job. So the nominee for the top job is Mrs. Jean Mensah, of course. Now, the NDC have rejected the EC boss, and I'm reading from page 3 this morning of the New Crusading Guide. In a related issue, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, has criticized the nomination of the Executive Director of the Institute of Economic Affairs. And, well, according to the NDC, they're rejecting her as the new EC chairperson, describing her as a known pro-NPP and an avowed anti-NDC person. I think we can start with you, Sam George, on this particular story.
Look, the appointment of Madame Jean Mensah, for me, is problematic. Not because of her competence, not because of who she represents, but because of the office she's been appointed to. I know Madame Jean Mensah personally. I mean, you want your electoral commissioner to be somebody who has no partisan affiliations, because the electoral commission is not supposed to be partisan in any way. You're basically going to be a referee. For as long as we can foresee, it's going to always be a straight fight between the NDC and the NPP. And we do not want anybody who has any alliances or any connections with any of these political parties. The relationships, and the party, the General Secretary of the party has stated that we'll be putting out evidence of her alliances.
Yes.
I mean, don't forget that the party has engaged with her. I don't want to to preempt the party. But don't forget that the party is engaged with Madam Jean Mensa through the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, the IPAC thing, and then the IEA Roundtable for Ghana Political Parties engagement. And even at those levels, there have been issues of neutrality that not just the NDC, but even some of the smaller parties have raised with Madam Jean Mensa and the IEA. When it comes to the presidential debates, you realize that there were times when some parties even decided they would not take part in it because of some of the issues that were raised. I mean, so if in managing a CSO like the IEA that dealt with the political parties, and we had issues about her neutrality, and you see, I'm being very careful because I don't want to get caught up in any sort of personal issues here. But I mean, when you know what we know, or you're a political player like I am, and you hear Madam Jean Mensa for EC boss, you ask yourself, come on, what are we talking about? I mean, her husband is Mr. Charles Mensa. We know the role Mr. Charles Mensa played under President Kufuor for the NPP in the energy sector with Nikamate Fio & Co. on the board of VALCO. He's been an appointee of that government. In this current government, he is still fronting and negotiating deals for this government in the energy sector in Scandinavia, in Norway.
But her professional life has nothing to do with her private life.
See, we need to be very careful about some of those things. At the time that he was doing all of those things, okay, for the NPP under President Kufuor, and even until recently under this administration, his company, through which was a vehicle he used, which is called, I think, Chemu Oil or Chemu Energy or something, she was a party of that part. She was a partner in that company. You understand me? So once a person has a certain alliance or a certain long-standing relationship with one political party, it beggars belief.
Well, she's the one that's been nominated, not the husband.
You're not getting the point I'm making. The husband's company, she was a partner in that company that dealt with the NPP. The previous NPP administration. Okay. In the divestiture of the Kaiser energy things and all those things that went on. I mean, it was Chemo Energy that did it. Nikamate Fio at the time as VALCO CEO and her husband on the board and their company, which she at the time was a director of the company, dealing with the NPP. I mean, like I said, there are several other instances. The party would come out with all of those things. That states that for a position that needs neutrality, she lacks that key ingredient. And it doesn't just end with her. You go to Dr. Bosman. You ask yourself, is the president really serious? I want to believe that the president really did not instruct his chief of staff to put out those names. Because I can't for the life of me. Dr. Bosman, you just need to speak to any student from the political science department of Legon who will tell you what his political inclinations are. I mean, you need to speak with the man for 5 minutes. This is somebody who's come out to even criticize a likely candidate in the next elections. When it was hinted that President Mahama was possibly going to stage a comeback, Dr. Bosman has taken him to task, spoken to the media severally, and said that it would be a mistake. When President Mahama criticized this administration, Dr. Bosman came to the defense of this administration and said that President Mahama was doing that on the basis of bad blood or bad faith. Dr. Bosman has criticized the NDC for taking a position on national issues. So somebody who has antagonized a political party, you appoint him to become one of the deputy chairs of the EC. You ask yourself, what is the president thinking? Is the president seeking to destroy the democracy that he's finally one of the chief beneficiaries of? One of the key issues I have here is what appears to be a strategic attempt to usurp the powers of institutions that do not come under the executive by the president. And it smells and smacks of despotism and a certain high-handedness that is associated with dictatorships. And the president needs to watch it. He may be doing it unconsciously, but he's sending the picture of being a despot or a dictator. I'll give you examples and give you reasons why I'm saying this. Parliament is not under the purview of the executive. Parliament is a full independent arm of government that must not come under the influence of the executive. The president has openly, not covertly, openly intervened in the workings of Parliament. When Parliament set up a bipartisan committee to investigate the cash receipt scandals, 24 hours before the committee will start sitting, the president goes on air and exonerates his ministers who are supposed to appear. What does he do? He sends a marker to his membership in Parliament saying, "This is my position. Toe that line." When the president is going to do this appointment, there's a case before the judiciary, before the Supreme Court, seeking an injunction to stop the president from making any appointments to the EC office until the pendency of the cases challenging the decision of the Chief Justice's committee on the Charlotte Osei and two others case is determined. The Supreme Court is yet to give a ruling on that. The president has usurped their powers effectively by basically throwing a challenge to them. I've made appointments. Now, it would take extreme measures for you to see the Supreme Court.
To be fair, the president has not usurped their powers therein. I mean, there's an application for an injunction. The application has not yet been granted.
So the responsible the responsible thing to do would be to allow the court processes to complete, because you don't know what the Supreme Court is going to say. Now, what the president has done is to say, "I've made my appointments. Supreme Court challenge me."
Well, I don't think it's fair in this instance to say the responsible thing to do would
That
be to...
is the responsible thing a president
What's
will
the
do.
legal thing to do?
In fact, if you want to talk about legalese, the president again has flouted Article 70 of the Constitution. Article 70 of the Constitution lists out people who must be appointed by the president in consultation with the Council of State. So
you are aware the president did not consult the Council of State?
Relax. You send the list of names, and I've been in government before. I've been in the office of the president before. We've made appointments before. Charlotte Osei was appointed when I was at the Flagstaff House. The names are sent to the Council of State by the presidency. The Council of State will meet on it and take a decision and advise the president. Upon the advice of the Council of State, the president will inform the nation. Take the president's letter, the letter that was issued yesterday and signed by Freeman Opare, the chief of staff.
Yeah.
If you read the last paragraph, you'd realize that the president has not yet consulted. He's now asking the Council of State to expeditiously advise him after he's gone and out to tell the whole country that these are my nominees. So again, what has he done? He's tying the hands of the Council of State, because you think your Council of State to come out and say, "Mr. President, the names you have told Ghanaians, that is on the front page of all the newspapers, all the media houses are discussing today, we disagree with you." That in itself will be a vote of no confidence in the president's decision making by the Council of State. That in itself portends problems for our democracy. So you've tied the hands of the Council of State effectively by telling them that this is who I want.
To be fair,
you put the names out.
I want us to go back to your argument on Article 70.
Yes.
The president has not appointed. The president has nominated. Article 70 says that the president shall appoint in consultation with the Council of State. He has not appointed. He has nominated. So let's just get that point clear that he has not breached Article 70.
Don't engage in semantics to cover up the president.
No, that is the law.
No. Let me tell you what the law is, and I've given you precedents. I've worked in the office of the president, and I'm telling you how that same office, this same office, when Afarijan was going to be appointed, if you cast your mind back, did President Rawlings announce his name before the Council of State advised? No. The names are normally sent to the Council of State. The advice comes, and upon the advice of the Council of State, so the letter that would announce it would say, upon consultation with the Council of State, the president is nominating or appointing so and so pending approval by Parliament. That's what happened in the case of Afarijan. That's what John Mahama did in the case of Charlotte Osei. Even in the same administration, when the president was going to appoint chief justices, justices to the Supreme Court, what did he do? He wrote, without informing the Ghanaian public, he wrote to the Judicial Service, the Judicial Council. The Judicial Council advised, because there, when he's appointing judges to the Supreme Court, it's on the advice of the Judicial Council. He wrote to the Judicial Council, they advised him. After he had received the advice on the nominations, he went out to tell the Ghanaian public. In this case, he's turned Article 70 upside down. He's supposed to appoint on the basis of his consultation. Now, it's like you, listen,
Okay.
No, let me explain this to you.
You has not said anything in a while, so
you are going to see a chief. You are going to see your chief in your village for discussions, for advice on something to do. And you go and stand in the marketplace and discuss everything with the market women before you go to the chief? Do you think the chief is going to give you any contrary advice?
We'll get into those details.
Okay, so I have a few questions for Sam George. So, does the president's nomination effectively make Jean Mensa the EC boss as we speak?
Effectively, yes.
So is she the EC boss?
It is pending just the processes. And I'm saying to you that today,
I'd be happy if you could answer with yes or no. Is she the EC boss?
No, it doesn't end. It's not a black and white issue.
Okay,
she's effectively the EC boss. Yes.
Now, the other point you started raising, you said that Jean's husband did some business with the NPP, and you went on and on. Were those established to be criminal or illegal?
Oh, nobody has impugned criminality here or illegality.
No, it's a question I'm asking. But some ways.
Nobody spoke about criminality.
There are things I am looking for in an EC boss. Does the person have the capacity, the competence, and the integrity? And is the person objective? I do not think that in the country that we live in now, you'd find pure neutrals. But is the person objective, irrespective of the fact that the person has NDC roots, CPP roots, PNC roots, PPP roots, whatever roots? Will the person be objective? Will the person's appointment negate the established regulations and guidelines for the functions of the Electoral Commission? Can Jean Mensa or any other person so nominated, when approved, change the way we do things or unilaterally make things work in favor of one political party or the other? Those are questions I ask. And when it comes to the bit about consulting the Council of State, you remember the case the Ghana Bar Association, Richard Sky and Co. took to the Supreme Court?
I was about to make reference to that, actually.
I remember that case, and I remember how it was defended by the NDC and by some other people. And I remember the ruling of the Supreme Court to the effect that the president could go ahead and do that. So I don't know whether the president's move now is illegal per that Supreme Court ruling. You are the lawyers. I think
that ruling indicates that the Constitution in Article 70 says that on the advice of in consultation with the Council of State does not mean the president is bound by what the Council of State recommends. So in this same instance, if the president has nominated before the Council of State deliberations, the Council of State are actually free to give, their opinions that we don't like this person, but then the president will still not be bound by their opinions. Okay,
so I think we should be looking at things in that regard. Does the person have the capacity, the competence, and the integrity? I personally believe you can never have a neutral.
Okay.
That's a personal belief. But is the person objective? If the person is objective, the person has a track record of working in certain spaces, and if the institution as established is grounded such that one person or two people cannot change the course of our democracy, I think we should just...
But do you not find the connection between, the fact that she has a close connection, be it familial, or the fact that she's married to someone who apparently, based on Sam George's arguments, is so linked with the NPP? Do you not find maybe the perception of neutrality or lack of same, do you not find it a bit worrying?
If my memory serves me right, when Charlotte Osei was appointed, similar comments were passed by people in different parties. Some political parties commended the president then for the appointment. Some others believe that there was a bit of a link with the NDC, so that didn't make it right. But we went ahead to put her there. And from some of the reviews we've had of Charlotte Osei's tenure, she was competent for the job. She had the capacity for the job. She had issues.
It was objective.
But it didn't negate the work she did.
Okay.
So I feel you cannot have neutrals. If the person is objective, the capacity is there, the integrity is there, and we have an institution so grounded so as not to allow one person or two people or a few people to change the course of our democracy.
Okay.
We should.
70 which went to the Supreme Court was 71. The appointment that the president is making is not 71, it's 72. And the wordings are different. Let's read 71. 71 says the president shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint. And that's why the Supreme Court distinguished that and said it is just acting in consultation, not on the advice of. He could get the advice from them and choose to ignore that advice. But the Constitution is explicit in 2. And in 1, it talks about the Shraj, Auditor General, District Assembly, Common Fund people. But in 72, this is the wording. The President shall, acting on the advice. 1 says acting in consultation. But 2 says acting on the advice of the Council of State. Appoints the Chairman, Deputy Chairman, and other members of the EC. Those are the only people that it specifies in 2. Must be appointed on the advice. You understand me? Not in consultation. 71 talks about in consultation.
To be fair, Sam, if we feel we have the president has breached the constitution in any way, fortunately we have the Supreme Court to seek interpretation.
It's less than 24 hours.
Okay.
You know, it's less than 24 hours since the announcement has been made, and that's what I'm saying. That all of these are matters that will evolve with time. I mean, today. Madam Jean Mensa is not EC boss. All the 4 people have not taken over office today. There are processes that have to go through. And I'm saying that if you read 72, which is what empowers the president to take the actions he's taken, it puts a burden of the advice of the Council of State, not consultation, on him. The 71 that went to the Supreme Court did not ask him to do it based on the advice. He said it must do it in consultation. If I can consult,
that went to the Supreme Court was still in respect of the Electoral Commission. I don't want us to go back and forth on the interpretation of same. I think, fortunately, I'm getting an indication from you that the NDC would probably go to court for interpretation.
I haven't said so. I'm not speaking for the
I'm
NDC.
getting an indication. So let's just
I do not know
leave
what
it at
direction
that.
my party is going to take.
We just want to touch briefly. Let's just end this here. We just want to touch briefly. I want to take brief comments from you on this particular story here, front page of the Chronicle. Just brief comments in a minute or so. Muntaka doctored evidence, says Kennedy Ejapon, but apologizes to Parliament. So in respect of yesterday's committee hearing on this particular issue.
Well, I mean, the hearings were held in the view of the public, and everybody followed it. I mean,
but the allegations of
those allegations for me are neither here nor there. What evidence was doctored? The evidence was presented before the committee. If truly you believe that the evidence against you was doctored, you won't go ahead and apologize. You would challenge the claims that were being made, because the case against him was founded on the evidence that was tendered in. So if you are saying that the evidence that's been tendered in against you is false, why apologize? Why accept guilt? You would challenge the evidence, prove that it's been doctored, and exonerate yourself. But in saying that it's been doctored and then going ahead to apologize and admit guilt, I mean, it's neither here nor there. I think that the Honorable Kennedy Ejapon, who is my very good friend and chairman of my communications committee, must just learn to control his anger and his rage, and know that now he's not just an ordinary member of Parliament, he's chairman of the communications committee. Let me chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, for your really quick comments on this.
I think Sam George has said it. Yeah. Largely, let's situate this in public figures and the utterances they make publicly, and let a lot of things guide us when we are debating or when we are commenting on issues, because what you say can be used for and against you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kojo.
Stuck to your 1 minute.
Stuck
to your 1 minute.
Kojo Akoto-Boateng, the head of research for City FM and City TV. Thank you so much for coming. And of course, we're joined by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, who says Kennedy Ejapon is the chairman. So let's just stick to that.
Honourable Select Committee on Communications.
You should tell Sam George that we need to step up work at the beaches around Ningo and Pram.
Let me use this opportunity, thank you Kojo for bringing this, to remind the Minister for Water, for West and Housing, my very good friend and senior brother, Pastor Samuel Atachia. You put it in the budget. After I worried the office, the sea defense for Ningo is in the budget. Please push Ken Oforiatta to release the money. Let them start the project. I beg you. Ningo is washing away. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Still, we have a few messages.
Yes, a few messages. Molani Foketia says, congrats to Jean Mensa on your appointment as EC boss. It is not going to be an easy task, as you are aware, but aligning with Ghanaians, especially all political parties, and your experience, I pray that you will take our electoral process to the next level with the spirit of patriotism, fear of God and the opposite side of your appointment. Be prepared for wide allegations and criticism that will come from those who opposed your appointment. Akwaba, new humble EC boss.
Okay, so we'll just draw the curtains on news review.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Up next, really interesting, insightful interviews. Jifa will be telling you more
all about it.
show.
It has something to do with entrepreneurship and GIPC, so you do not want to miss it. We'll
Stay
be right
tuned to
back.
Breakfast Daily.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
The City FM Literacy Challenge is back. Are you a JHS student? Are you willing to contribute to change? What would you do if you were the president of Ghana? Do you want to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis? If yes, then participate in the Literacy Challenge 2018. Level 1. The year is 2035. The law allows people below age 40 to contest the presidency. As a presidential candidate in a general election, in no less than 600 words, write your manifesto speech. Remember, letter must be in your own handwriting, must be endorsed by a parent or guardian. Add your full contact details and post to the Literacy Challenge, P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central, or drop it off at the front desk of City FM at the Braka behind the police station. Level 2, the top 50 students selected from all over Ghana shall take a written general knowledge quiz. And finally, level 3, the top 10 students shall compete in the classic quiz competition to win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. The Literacy Challenge is powered by 97.3 City FM and sponsored by Data Bank Edifund and MoneyGram with support from City TV. Closing date for entries is Friday, 10th August 2018. Call 0205-973-973 for more inquiries. Terms and conditions apply.
Every Thursday night on City TV, you're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more. Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Also, live on 97.3 City FM.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
An ailing economy and a depreciating Ghana cedi. These are what it seems the next government will inherit from this administration. But as citizens of this republic, it is our responsibility to probe, to ask questions, and to investigate those going for political positions. Good morning, my name is Dr. So, and I am the host for the comic edition of the Newspaper Review this morning. And I have a fantastic gentleman here with me who says that he doesn't belong to either the NPP or the NDC, but is going to be the first man to be president as an up-and-coming political party. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you Honorable General Ntatia.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Honorable.
Yes.
I am fascinated by your ambition to become president. I just want to know, what makes you think that you can be president of the Republic of Ghana?
Oh, I don't think I can become the president. But I'm thinking Ghanaians are thinking that I can become president.
So what if Ghanaians stop thinking then?
If Ghanaians stop thinking, I will think for them.
Okay, can you take us through your political party, the name of your political party, what you stand for, and your political emblem?
Oh, okay. The name of my political party will be QUE, Q Union Party. Because when I win political power, I will share the national coffers equally. Okay. So beginning of the year, we'll form a long queue at Independence. Everybody will be entitled to 500 cedis. And I'll give it to you in January. If you chop the money before December, I'll come back to rough.
Okay, your party emblem.
Oh, you know the NDC is using the umbrella and the MPP is using the elephant. Mine will be egg and snap.
Egg and snap?
Yes. One egg and 2 snaps.
Why egg and snap?
Because before you go to your office, after that, go and embezzle national money. You will see what will happen to you.
Okay, if I give you the chance to change one thing in Ghana, what are you going to change?
Oh, straight away, I will change the 2 eagles on the coat of arms.
Why?
They've been there for far too long. If Ghana would develop that, by this time we would have developed long time ago. I'll change them into something that can live in water and on land. Something that can do things at the same time, 2 things at the same time.
Like what?
I'll change them to crocodile.
Why crocodile?
Crocodile because the crocodile can live in water and on land.
So if I give you the chance to change it to another animal, what are you going to do?
The crocodile's mother. The mother is another animal. The father is another animal. The children are different animals.
Okay, now let's talk politics because electors are listening to you and they would like to vote for you. Honorable General Tatia, what is your perception about the economy so far in Ghana?
Oh, first of all, let me start by saying that you can force a horse to the riverside, okay, but you cannot force it to drink. But it will not happen to me. If you are a horse and you are home and I'm taking you to the river, tell me that you won't drink. Because if I take you to the riverside, you will drink by all means.
Okay.
Right now, the country is bleeding. It is bleeding from the north. And we don't even have nurses to give us first aid. So we are bleeding rough.
Okay, General Tatia. Let's talk about the media budget. Last week, the Minister of Finance read the media budget. And Ghanaians were anticipating, some were saying that there was going to be an increment in VAT, increment in this, tax that. But one thing that caught my attention is the taxing of luxury vehicles. Do you think it's in the right direction?
Yes, I think it's in the right direction. Because if you are using a luxurious vehicle and we are going to Koforidua and I'm using a small vehicle like Kia, you will get to Koforidua before I'll get there. So you are in a good position. So we have to tax your car so that you see that it's not easy to use those cars.
But what you deem as a luxury vehicle might not be a luxury vehicle to me.
My brother, every luxury vehicle. See, even this tax is small. If I come, I will tax a lot of things. I will even tax on unemployment. I will tax you that when you are at home, you will be thinking tax. You have to run and do something.
You tax unemployment?
Yes, if you are in the house and you are unemployed, you are free. I will tax you, then you have to find something to do.
So that means that if you are taxing the people, like there will be some form of an agency to go and find something
to do. I don't want, the population is too huge. So I want to tax that people will start living from this country. So to remain with a small number of people that I can govern them.
So what other things will you tax?
I will, if you are a woman and you are huge, I will tax you.
What does somebody's weight?
If you look at your beard like this, I will tax your beard.
Oh, you are
not allowed to use this beard. You single man like you. Your brothers are looking for beard. They don't have. You have this number, this huge beard. I will tax.
You tax me.
I will tax you. Sure. You think I'm coming to joke? I'm coming in to solve the situation in the country.
In this country.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the educational system. There's a multi-track system. It started way back from 2 years to 2.5 years to 3 years to 4 years to free SHS to community day school. We need to find a solution to this problem.
Yes.
How would you solve this educational system problem?
I will solve it easily. I will come out with a area school. If you are having like 6 houses close to each other, they call your children and then you find a huge house, put the student there, call the Ministry of Education, we will bring you a teacher. I don't want a situation that students will be going to school 3 months and they will break for others. No. If the school is around your area, the father will be seeing what the student is learning.
Okay, so what if your area is in Nima and the computer pushes you to somewhere in Kumasi? What are you going to do?
The computer, is it not sensible? that the area is far away from the student, that you place the student around the same area. Please, if a computer, they cannot use their minds to do things, I will call them for a meeting. We'll sit down over a cup of tea and then we'll discuss. Post the students to the area that they can go and learn. Why somebody is in Kumasi area school, then you bring him to Accra? What is he coming to do?
The solutions that you are giving fascinates me. I just want to know, what is your educational background? In terms of your SHS, where did you school?
I was a science student.
You?
1999, I even represented my school, Sunshine Science and Maths quiz. But because I'm a stammerer, I was in the middle. I was only writing the answers.
1999, I watched the whole episode. I didn't see you.
I said I was there. If you didn't see me, what television were you using?
I think I was using Samsung.
No, we didn't appear in Samsung television. Find a different TV. Maybe you see me there.
So if I'm supposed to ask you a science question, you can answer?
A science question?
Yes.
Someone that I was a science student. How can't I answer a science question?
Are you sure?
Ask me.
You don't want to embarrass yourself here?
I'm not going to. I'm telling you the thing. I say I'm going to embarrass myself.
Okay. So this is your first question. It's actually a true or false question.
A true. Oh, Aria.
Osmosis is a movement of solvent molecules.
Yes.
From a region of a lower concentration to a region of a higher concentration across a semi-permeable membrane. True or false?
Hey. When you started, it was true. But getting to the down, it became false. So let's be in the middle. I don't want to confuse anybody.
I don't believe you. Anyway, your last take on the Ghana city. How can we arrest the city?
Oh, the city situation, there is not a dialogue or meeting. No. We have to pray for the city. Please, let us pray. Oh, Father Lord, today, how are you? A lot of things are happening in this country. Father, today I bring the Ghana city in front of you. How many heads do we have on the city? 6 heads. What are they even doing? And how many heads do we have on the dollar? Oh, only 1 head. How can 1 head compete against 6 heads? Father, today we take 1 head from the city and we match it against the 1 head from the dollar. The remaining 5 rise up. Oh. The remaining 5 heads rise up. Oh. Yes, Antoine. Yeah, we hid you in the city for a reason. Yes, Antoine, it is time to come out from the city. Yes, Antoine, come and fight too. Yeah, if you don't come and fight for the city to gain its position, we will take you out and we'll put Kwesi Nyantakyi there. Amen.
Okay, this is all that this money will allow us. We'll be back and watch out for the presidential candidate. I'll be following him around, helping him to campaign. I wish you all the best in your political ambition.
You can't wish me all the best. I am already the best.
Okay, see you some other time.
Thank you.
Thursday night on City TV. You're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more. Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Also, live on 97.3 City FM.
So that was another amazing performance by Men on Black. We're going to learn more about them in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about developing the self-confidence of school pupils through arts. As you can see around me, we have a lot of amazing artwork from young kids, and we're going to learn more about it. I'm joined by Mr. Martel Matale. He's a Ghanaian artist from Winneba. He was educated at the then University of Science and Technology, now known as the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Martel, for the past 30 years, has made the country of Mali his home. Immersed in the rich historic African culture of the Sahelian region, there Martel's work brings people from all over the world to catch a glimpse, leading the King of Morocco to host him at his palace. Martel paints, designs, sculpts, and does a host of other artistic things. The Martel School Art Project is his passion, transmitting and imbibing the passion and skills of painting to children. For over 15 years now, Martel has continually held these art sessions with children across the ECOWAS sub-region. These successes and impact inspired his decision to extend the project to his home country, Ghana. The Martel School Art Project, in its first project in Ghana, engaged children of 4 selected schools in Adabraka, right here: Liberty Avenue 1 and 2 Primary and JHS, Mante Jackie Primary, and Amusu Dai JHS, in a series of art sessions. Over the 2-week period, they moved the children from being clueless in art to becoming art enthusiasts. It has been an awakening in these schools, and the work of art which have been created by children are highly impressive, as you can see on the table in front of me here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
First of all, congratulations on all the amazing things you've done. And I've also been joined by Michelle Ejapong, who is also with the Martel School Art Project.
Thanks a lot.
Wow. Let's start with how you ended up in Mali.
Well, I left Ghana in 1978. My idea was to search for the real inner spirit of art, because I'm an artist. I've been to 17 countries in Africa, but to Mali...
17 countries?
Good countries in Africa, yeah. Wow. But when I arrived in Mali, I could see that most of their dialect and our dialect seems the same.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you. And I visited the museum, and I detected that, no, there is something I have to pick up here and learn and send it back home.
Wow.
Well, I've been there participating with some of the artists, teaching them, teaching children, traveling all over the regions in Mali and countries like Senegal, Burkina Faso, etc., to train artists. But I felt now, they used to say, the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first.
Yes.
Ghana should be the first, so I have to come back home and then share with them.
Wow.
The children.
Well, I'm
That's
happy
why I
that you're back home.
Thanks.
Now, tell me a bit about why children. Why is it important for children to learn art?
Well, you see, children are the most wonderful human beings I've ever met. I've worked with, yes, they are more intelligent more than us. Because creativity to a child is easier, but to an adult it's a duty. They think very fast. The only thing is that they lack this word, appreciation. We don't give them the appreciation. We need to appreciate whatever they do and model them. Try to catch them in their conscience and then try to, make them feel that they are also part of development. You see, a child has the tendency of being curious. And when you find out that a child is curious, that's the beginning to teach you that he's trying to find out, imagining things to do. So you have to help him. With art, it's not only art alone. Art is everything. Art of walking, art of talking, art of eating, art of dancing, art of speaking. Everything is art. When you buy a land, you need an architect to give you a structure. When you want to serve someone on a table, you find a good plate and something of that nature to serve the fellow. When you want to put up dresses, you find the colors that will suit you. You understand?
Yes.
So why I got to these children is that children are very sincere. Really, they are sincere. And they copy easily. They have their own world. But as soon as they start to grow, you see, it becomes difficult for them. Because why? They are being tackled by the system. If I say the system, perhaps economic system, family system, you know, I believe that there are 3 types of faculties in the world: knowledge, wisdom, and human relationship. You know, these faculties should start from the beginning. It is whereby these children will have the understanding of the world that they are living. From baby to 70 years old, we appreciate them. But as they are getting to 10, 11, the thing gets the other way.
I'll come back to that and I'll ask Michelle a question. But I think we have some pictures of you with the kids that I want our viewers to look at.
Okay.
So that's what's going on here? Are they learning how to paint in the picture?
Yeah, that was in the beginning. When I entered into class, I chat with them.
Wow.
You see, you can start like that.
And are they allowed to paint anything they want, or it has to be perfect?
No, perfection is.
Oh, look at you.
How to do it is chat with them, because they have their own mind, they have their own feelings. That, for instance, you start by saying, there's mosquitoes all over. Example, how are we going to stop these mosquitoes from causing us malaria? We need to be tidy, sweep our compound, get rid of dirty waters. And how are we going to do it? We all come from homes. I don't know your home, but you know them. Try to put something on paper, not by words. Talk to me through your conscience, your hands, and from your heart. So when they understand this vibrant, what we call activation, that means words, they just come out, and then, you know, they put something there. It is not what they are putting there that matters, but the feel. It develops their psyche. They learn how to concentrate. They learn how to integrate and also be social. This is what I need the children to have and develop, to live in a very good community. That's it.
Thank you. Now I'm joined by 2 of our superstars. What's your name?
Please, my name is Linda Owusu-Fudgel.
Linda Owusu-Fudgel.
Lindivo Owusu-Fudgel.
Lindivo Owusu-Fudgel.
Yes.
Wow. What's your name?
Prince Odame.
Prince Odame. Okay. I will ask both of you what you gained from this painting, okay? The process of painting and the experience you've had so far at the Martel School of Art. Okay, so I'll ask you the questions, but before that, Ms. Michelle, how important is confidence, right? So I was reading a book that the entire thesis of the book was that as children, we have a lot of love, we are fearless, and then we become afraid, and all our imaginations are gone, right? So how important is confidence when we are at this stage, and how do they build that confidence with art?
Well, confidence, yes, it is very important. Confidence is like a muscle. If you have it when you're a child and you can maintain it and you constantly work on it, it just grows and grows. Whereas when children are young, depending on the dynamic in the family or in the school or wherever they are, it can diminish from the way they've been treated and so forth. Sometimes the education system can impose a lot of pressure on children, which can make their confidence wane. So with regards to the art, it does give children that energy and that confidence to kind of use their imagination feel happy and satisfied with what they've created. And with art, it can be quite a quick fix. It can, bolster your confidence. So yeah, confidence is very important, and this project is, integral to maintaining that within the young people of Ghana.
Okay, now back to you, Mr. Mattel. We are in a society that encourages lack of expression, right? So when you have a child that talks too much, your parents will say, "We are pennies them," or "You're not supposed to talk. You're just supposed to listen to the adults and obey the adults and not express yourself." What role does art play in kids having the ability to just express themselves, and how important is it that we have children who are able to express themselves as they see fit?
Thank you very much for this question. That is why this project is much. Well, you see, generally African children, they knew that when an elderly person stands in front of them or is talking to them, they have to give them the respect. They become quiet and listen. But there are times, I say, we the elders also, we might not be in a very good mood when these children approaches us. You see, we sometimes impart some negative attitudes into them by what we feel. They don't know what we feel. Imagine a mother, a constrained mother. If a child is even laughing with her, she can't understand the language. It takes time. You must be well educated, not education that you've been, but spiritually develop that psyche before you can understand it. So you see, art makes you smile. It makes you feel, for instance, you say, "Oh, but what is this? Ikuya, or what is this? Kofi?" Say, "Oh, this is the man. I drew someone."
And we have a lot of beautiful pieces.
Yes, this is just like a butterfly, the way, And then,
let me give them to you.
Yes. You see, for instance, this one. You see, he wrote the name this way, but this is the way it is. It shows you trees.
Yes.
You see, and you make the sky, the light. It's just like a forest. You see, that's the way. Perhaps he's been in a car, traveling to some place, and along the roadside he might have a view. This view is there. But without approaching the view, he can't just pick it out, but it's blocked there. So with art, you come out with it. You see, they talk through the art. If you can't talk with the children, you give them something to do. And by so doing, approach them and ask them, "What is this?" You then, as an adult, become a student, and he becomes the master. And he tells you, "This is what I mean, this is what I mean, this is what I mean." Because learning is reciprocal. We can't be authoritarian all the time. And this is what I've studied, that most of these Africans, we have that power. It is me, that it is my son, it is my child. No, that is out. Yes, you can learn a lot of things, even from your children, more than your education that you are having. Yes, because they go out, they mingle with people, they are in the society, and they hear a lot of things. I'm with you here. If my child is at the market at Nima, or let's say Usu, well, whatever he sees, they have not seen it. So if he's telling me that, this is that, I have to accept that. Or even not accepting it, I have to assume something. We are all building up, and that's the development.
Thank you. We have a video actually that we want to show you guys. So let's watch it quickly.
This Mattel Art School project started a long time ago. It's my passion to train children to develop their skills. It is in Mali, Gambia, Burkina Faso, etc., etc. I'm now in Ghana, and I have to try to share with the children. These children have talents and skills in them, but it seems we look down upon them. This is another way of reaching them to develop their confidence, their concentration, and also to be bold. If a child is bold and can concentrate, I think he can just carry on with the rest.
My name is Mrs. Celestina Ofiliata, the headmistress of Liberty Avenue Primary School. From the beginning, I felt it was boring, but later on, I discovered that, wow, there are talents in a lot of these children, and talent hidden. We didn't know that these children could, come out in so many beautiful things. And fortunately, we have come to the end of the program, and I think that the children are so happy. They've developed some kind of interest for artwork. And so we are very much grateful to Martelly learning works.
While I
play. What class are you in right now?
Please, I'm in class 5.
You're in class 5.
Yes.
Do you paint? Do you do these paintings?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me the process of painting. How do you feel when you paint?
I feel so happy.
Really? Why?
Because painting is something like, use it to show something like feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can draw something like butterfly, cars, and many other things.
Mm-hmm.
So painting is something good for me.
Okay. And go ahead.
And I like it so much.
Really?
Yes.
And you get to play with the colors and
yes.
everything else. Do your teachers see if you have painted a perfect picture, or it doesn't matter? You can paint whatever you want.
Yes, I can paint whatever I want.
Is it fun?
Yes, it's fun for me.
Okay. Prince, tell me about your experience with painting. What class are you in?
I'm in P6.
P6. Wow, you're a big boy. Tell me about your experience with painting.
When they came at first, I wasn't know how to draw.
Really?
Yes. But when they came with teachers, now I'm perfect. I know how to draw. I can draw a lot of things. They taught us a lot of things, how to color, how to paint, how to use poster colors to draw.
So what are the things you've learned from the process? If I don't know how to draw too, so if I want to learn, what are some skills I need?
You have to learn.
Okay, do I have to be patient? Do I have to erase a lot, or I can just draw anything? And do I have to think about it first before I draw
you have
it?
to observe it from your mind.
I have to observe it from my mind.
Yes.
And then?
It came out so that you can draw.
Okay. I got it. I think I can draw. We have a series of pictures here that I want to show you guys, because there's a big event tomorrow that you do not want to miss. So we'll be showing all these beautiful paintings. It's at we'll talk about the exhibition soon, but I want to show you some of the paintings that we have here, and all these are done by the children, students. Okay, as you can see here. Now let's talk briefly about the exhibition. What can we expect? It's happening at the Amusa Dai JHS, right?
Yeah.
Which is opposite the Hotel Avenida, right here at Adabraka.
Yes.
We're going to see all these amazing work
Good.
by the students.
Yes.
And it's at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Okay, tell us what to expect briefly.
Well, I expect the children to come in numbers. They are going to see their own co-equals trying to put something on the paper. And my doors are opened to them. Wherever, whenever they need me, I'm available for them. And I will teach them how to paint and how to sketch and how to color their works. It's a matter of training. And when we continue training, we will be perfect one day. Yeah. My expectation is that we are building institutions. We've got institutions for arts, professional artists like the universities, the technical schools, and then the polytechnics, now universities. But we need to train these children. These children are going to fill it, and then this can boost this country up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Michelle, is there a number we can call if we want more information?
Yes, there is. It's 020-670-3992.
020-670-3992. Okay, so 020-670-6992. Perfect. Okay. What can we all just attend? Is it free? If we want to buy some of the painting, are we allowed to purchase?
It's a free
or we
event.
just coming to watch it and go
No, you just, if you need to get something, you just express yourself. The children are there.
Okay.
We only want to make the children proud so that they are going on vacation so soon. And this is the time for them to just gather and then do something. My dream is that we start from Accra, Sekenita, Kradiwa, Tamale. Why not? 2 years time or 3 years time, we'll be selecting 10 from each region, and that will be a festival.
Big festival.
Festival
I
of
can't
art.
wait. I can't wait.
Yes. Yes.
Is there any last thing you want to share with us?
Oh, the only thing is that God bless Mother Ghana and Africa. The children should, I pray that they have to get, God should bless them with much more wisdom as that of Solomon, so that they can push this country up.
Amen.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work that you do. Thank you very
also
much. And I hope
Thank
we
you.
will all make our way to the exhibition tomorrow morning. You do not want to miss it. Okay, we want to continue the conversation. Up next, we've talked about children and arts. We're going to learn about entrepreneurs and the work GIPC is doing to promote local entrepreneurs. Keep the conversation coming. Keep your comments going with the hashtag BreakfastDaily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. We'll be right back.
The City FM Literacy Challenge is back. Are you a JHS student? Are you willing to contribute to change? What would you do if you were the president of Ghana? Do you want to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis? If yes, then participate in the Literacy Challenge 2018. Level 1. The year is 2035. The law allows people below age 40 to contest the presidency. As a presidential candidate in a general election, in no less than 600 words, write your manifesto speech. Remember, letter must be in your own handwriting, must be endorsed by a parent or guardian. Add your full contact details and post to the Literacy Challenge, P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central, or drop it off at the front desk of City FM at the Braka behind the police station. Level 2. The top 50 students selected from all over Ghana shall take a written general knowledge quiz. And finally, Level 3. The top 10 students shall compete in the classic quiz competition to win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. The Literacy Challenge is powered by 97.3 City FM and sponsored by Data Bank Edifund and MoneyGram with support from City TV. Closing date for entries is Friday, 10th August 2018. Call 0205-973-973 for more inquiries. Terms and conditions apply.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
it's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Okay, welcome back to Breakfast Daily. Now, I've been joined by three people I admire a lot, and it's actually very interesting, and I'm quite honored to be in the presence of greatness. I've been joined by the Men on Black. Now, who are the Men on Black? Of course, most of them, in fact, all of them you already know. If you're on social media or you do follow our arts and culture, in fact, when it comes to comedy, these three gentlemen, in my opinion, they epitomize comedy in Ghana. We've been joined by General Ntatia. Good morning.
Good morning.
And of course, I've also been joined by Dr. So. Good morning.
Good morning.
Honor meeting you guys. And not forgetting Yibo Kojo Yibo. Did I pronounce it right?
That's correct.
Yibo Kojo Yibo. Exactly. So I'm joined Men in Black. Okay, so how did this whole group come about, Men in Black? Was it always the three of you, or was initially, I think it was the two of you?
Yeah. Yes, so the two of us are the two idiots.
Yeah.
And then together we are the Men on Black.
Okay, so the two idiots.
Yes.
And then he brought some smartness into the situation.
Yes,
so
yes.
He just decided Men on Black. He refused to be called an idiot.
Uncle B.
He's an uncle. Okay,
He's
so,
the uncle.
yeah, so he's the Uncle B.
Okay.
So the two idiots and Uncle B. Make Men on Black.
All of you make Men on Black. Okay, so that's how did Men on Black form? Was he there from the beginning, or it was later that you also identified talent in him, or he decided to align with you guys? What was the whole story with Men on Black?
We have always been together. We have always been together. We doing spoken word. We doing comedy, and he doing spoken word. As you know, Yibo Kojo Yibo is a grandpapa.
Yes,
of
we
spoken
know
word.
from spoken word. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, Yibo Kojo Yibo is a grandpapa of spoken word, and we are also.
You were at Halakasa, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Super. Yes, I remember him. He's fantastic.
Yeah. So we decided to form this group so that we can enter into another form of art. That's the performance arts.
Performance art.
Yes.
Now, speaking of performance art, there's an event coming up.
Yes.
So tell me more about this event. Maybe actually ask General about it.
Yes, so the event coming up, the title is called The Trial. By Franz Kafka. A very beautiful novel that was adapted by a German director called Simon Effler. So last 2 years he was here, he directed the piece, and he had the Ghanaian version, we had the German version, and together we fused the two and we performed in Dusseldorf. We've done some performances also in Ghana here, and this time around we are taking it to the Antique Lemonade at Airport Residential area. So basically that's a summary of everything that is going to happen.
Okay, so is there something you want to add yourself to what you said about this event?
I think the intent also for us doing this is because we've had very few people say it, the piece. And since the piece is also not that the usual standard theater space and audience space that you need to have a lot of people there and then just the performers here. But this is more of an intimate space where you have the performers and then the audience all in one room. Just like they are in this room like that, and the performance happen, and it's in a black box.
Where exactly is this happening?
This is happening at Airport Residential Area, Antique Lemonade. It's also
Lemonade.
called the Kappa Cappuccino, not too far from 805 in Airport, down the National Service Road. So if you Google also, you can just find it.
Right now things are easier because
okay,
so
it's
happening.
Kappa Cappuccino. Yeah, exactly. Happening tomorrow. Two shows each night, 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then a Thursday, Friday, and then a Saturday. So it's a 4-night
we'll put
show.
a flyer on the screen for in case people are not really getting the picture. We'll put, so this is what's happening. The trial. Interesting picture. Who's in the middle? I suppose that's you. You guys are very black. You guys are very, as if I'm not.
You are.
That by something. Anyway, so interesting. So Kappa Cappuccino, what's the time again?
At 6 p.m. and then 8 p.m. each night. The thing is, you need to call and then book your seat. We only can take 30 people at a time.
Wow.
So if you don't book a seat, you can't find the first 6 and 8 is almost already like it's gone. So the Thursday, Friday, some of them are almost like also going. So you need to really call and then book because it's really going to be very intense.
Okay, speaking of call, which number are we using to call? So people are watching. We have about 7 million Ghanaians watching you right now. Tell us exactly what number they should call.
The number to call is 020-7388-236. 020-7388-236. That's the number to call.
Okay, so like I said, you guys epitomize comedy in Ghana. So really briefly, where do we feel comedy is getting to? What's next for Men on Black? Really briefly. So I'll take maybe 30 seconds.
I would say that Ghanaian comedy is picking up. Like we're getting somewhere compared to some years back. Like looking at the new guys, like having Foster Romanos, the BKBs, the Lexis, and then Obi and Ponsandems. Like I think gradually we get into somewhere, which I believe that in the next year or two to come, we should be able to transport Ghanaian comedy outside.
Okay.
And then Men on Black also we coming out with we always look at performance that people don't really, something that will wow you, something that will put you on a different corner. So that's what we really do. We are coming out with something called Dinner with a Ghost, and it's another crazy something that people should see.
So, I think you guys are fantastic. Also, really briefly.
Okay, I think that we are all contributing our quota, and that should actually be our focus. That the generation behind did something. We are also here to do something. So we should all help support. Everybody, including every Ghanaian, should help promote this sector, because if it becomes international, it becomes international for all of us.
Yeah,
so all of us should support. That is one thing I like about the Nigerians. Let me say
they support themselves.
Yeah, they support themselves regardless of
this.
They still support themselves.
That's true.
That's what I will encourage all Ghanaians to do.
Finally, and I must say that the art must disturb the comfort and also comfort the disturbed. And so in this case, it's important that either we touch your uncomfortable place or we touch your disturbed place. And that's what the art is expected to do. And if your art don't do that, then you're not doing anything. And so it's important for us to think like that.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll get an amazing performance from them shortly, so do stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. I'll probably have an exclusive interview with them after the program and put it on Facebook. So do stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. Do not go anywhere.
The City FM Literacy Challenge is back. Are you a JHS student? Are you willing to contribute to change? What would you do if you were the president of Ghana? Do you want to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis? If yes, then participate in the Literacy Challenge 2018. Level 1. The year is 2035. The law allows people below age 40 to contest the presidency. As a presidential candidate in a general election, in no less than 600 words, write your manifesto speech. Remember, letter must be in your own handwriting, must be endorsed by a parent or guardian. Add your full contact details and post to the Literacy Challenge, P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central, or drop it off at the front desk of City FM at the Braka behind the police station. Level 2. The top 50 students selected from all over Ghana shall take a written general knowledge quiz. And finally, Level 3. The top 10 students shall compete in the classic quiz competition to win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. The Literacy Challenge is powered by 97.3 City FM and sponsored by Data Bank Edifund and MoneyGram with support from City TV. Closing date for entries is Friday, 10th August 2018. Call 0205-973-973 for more inquiries. Terms and conditions apply.
So we've learned about children and art, and of course our young gentlemen in the house and performing arts. Now we're going to learn about entrepreneurship. There's a UN report that says that 200 million people in Africa are between the ages of 15 and 24. And that makes Africa the continent with the youngest population in the world. Now this current trend indicates that the figure will double by 2045. We're going to learn a bit about the importance of young people in this continent and the role they play in the continent's development, focusing mainly on Ghana and the role entrepreneurs play in our development. I'm joined by Mr. Yofi Grant, who's the CEO of GIPC. Good morning, Yofi.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am very well. Thank you.
Now, why is it important for us to encourage young entrepreneurs?
Well, it's important because I keep saying that they are the currency for the future economies. They are the capital for the future economy. I mean, your economy will only grow to the extent that you have young people investing in it and also invested into form the actual drivers of the economy. And in today's world, where technology, innovation, and creativity is becoming the driving force of growth in any economy, it's the young people who've occupied that space. And so it's important to nurture, direct, support, and grow them, because they are going to grow the companies that are going to be the blue chips of the future. If you look in any country, whether it's America, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, a lot of the emerging millionaires, billionaires are young people below the age of 35. Yeah. And so why shouldn't we be doing the same in Ghana? I mean, every day when I walk the streets, I talk to people, I go to shops, I see a lot of stuff that are being made by young Ghanaian people. I mean, when I say young, maybe below the age of 40, that are world standard, that can make it in the world, but they do not have the channels, they do not have the know-how to transform from an entrepreneur to a business person. So it's important to actually find a platform for them. At least you can start, and it will pick up, nationwide. But you start by creating a platform, first of all, to expose them to what they will meet in an economy, the things that they will need to also grow based on the experiences of others who have done that. So it's very important to, pay a lot of attention to your young people. In any case, Africa being the youngest population. Now, take, for example, the recently signed Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which will create the biggest single market in the world today.
Wow.
Africa by 2050 will be a quarter of the world's population. I mean, you can't sit back and say that, take it there, okay, well, they can't stay there. You have to pay attention to them, just like how everybody paid attention to China.
Yes.
Because we're a huge economy.
So let's bring it back to GIPC. GIPC's core mandate is to promote, attract, and facilitate investment. And I think there's here an infographic that we have for you on the event, but we're going to look at that event in a couple of minutes.
Right.
It's happening tomorrow and Thursday at the Labadi Beach Hotel. So I'll tell you guys about the event now. It's called the GIPC Youth Entrepreneurs Forum, Phase 2. And it's happening at the Labadi Beach Hotel this Wednesday and Thursday. The objective is to provide a platform to continue the sensitization process of sharing GIPC strategy and provisions of the GIPC Act 865. So we're going to see a lot of young entrepreneurs all over Ghana at this event. Now, Yofi, before we looked at the event, I was asking you that GIP's core mandate is to promote, attract, and facilitate investment to all sectors of the Ghanaian economy.
Yes, indeed.
How does this connect to young entrepreneurs, and why is this forum important?
It is important for the reason that I said before, that they need a platform of learning, of sharing, of nurturing, of mentoring, of pupillage and teaching, to be able to navigate better the pitfalls and the vagaries of being private entrepreneurs, because they are going to be the business people of the future. And if they don't get a right takeoff or the right foundations, it becomes very difficult. And I can give you some other statistics that tells you that in any situation globally, out of every 10 new businesses, only maybe maximum 2 make it.
Wow.
Either because they didn't have the right, growth path, or they didn't have the right support, or they didn't have the right place, or they didn't plan well. Apart from that, every young person has to compete for capital. So the better you sharpen your act and sharpen your business idea, the better their chances of getting capital. But you also need to give them that platform to interact and be motivated. Because if you look at, and I mentioned this not too long, if you look at Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, look at the average age of the founders when they found these companies. They were all in their early 20s. And but they had the opportunity, they had the market, they had the drive, and they did it. Even if you go to China, you look at Jack Ma, he tried many things before he got where he is, but he's still considered a young person. If you go to Hong Kong and you look at some of the old people there, they started business 60 years ago. young people, they are now multi-billionaires.
So what should we expect from this forum? What kind of entrepreneurs? How many are we expecting?
Oh, it's very interesting because we actually set up the site for people to register.
Okay.
By 1.5 days, it was fully subscribed.
Wow.
Last year, when we had it, we had young people from all walks of life come in. And we ended up having, I mean, it was so full. What was left was standing room only, and some had to stand through some of the sessions. Unfortunately, too, because we hadn't catered for a large number of people, when it came to the mentoring sessions, there was limitations. But we did a speed mentoring session where you sit at a table with 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, and they ask you any questions they want. Then you move them to another mentor, so they had the benefit of 5 or 6 different mentors. So it was very inspiring for a lot of them. They really gave it good takes the first time any of them had any formal business engagement. So it helps them also understand how to prepare. But beyond that, they're also going to pitch. We're going to select, we're going to select, is it 10 or 20 businesses to pitch to a number of institutions and fund managers and business development people. And then the mentors, we have about 10 mentors.
Who are some of the mentors or speakers?
Oh, we have Herman Chinrihese, who is very passionate about youth empowerment. We have Alex Bram from Haptel. We have, oh gosh, I had them.
We'll go on the website
and
find out
they're there. I mean, we
them.
have them. We have Jibodi Dosu, who is there. We have, what's her name? Megan McCormick from the Uzi Group. We have, what's my friend from Type? I mean, we have quite a number of people who are there. Some of the lecturers who are going to be there include Prof. Robert Hinson. And you know how passionate he is about marketing, which is important, very important, because we do a lot of great stuff and we don't package well.
Yes.
Speaking
of marketing, I heard some of the topics are going to include customer experience management, attracting the right finance, understanding Ghana's tax and incentive regime, managing the growth process, and developing new markets in the advent of technology. So we're going to learn all these things.
Yes,
in
we
2
are.
days.
We have somebody from Pricewaterhouse who's going to help us negotiate the tax and incentive regime. I will speak about what GIPC does and how to attract the right type of capital, how to partner with foreign direct investment, and all that. Those are very important for young people. I mean, I wish that when I was young, I had that opportunity. I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Where do we register?
There was an online register.
So we go to the GIPC website and we
yes, but like I said, but the first 2 days it was fully subscribed. So we're trying to negotiate today to see if we can expand.
Okay.
Because I'm getting calls on end. My office is also being besieged by people who says, no, I want to be there. And it's not just the young people who want to be there. Some established business people who are passionate about the engagement want to be part of it. I mean, I've had consulting firms call me and says, how can we be part of it? I've had press houses says, how can we be part of this? Because this is important, and it's a very important thing to happen in this country. But, and I'm sure you know, even on the political side, that there's a lot of push for young people to be in business. The NEIP, NEIP, you know, NACOP, all these things are there, you know, to push young people, because they are the ones who are really going to bring about growth in the economy.
Yes, thank you so much, Yofi. And I see that Wilberforce has joined us.
It's very, very, informative. I think these things that's been done in the country right now is really helping businesses and especially startups, young people who want to, enter into business. It's not such a scary environment anymore. It's not something we see for. These are reserved for the old people out there anymore. It's very, very impressive.
But I'll tell you something which is, even for me, it's that will make you very happy. I was here in your studio a few weeks ago, and we saw a young man called Stephen Oil, who plays the guitar. He's going to open the conference.
Wow. Okay, so we're all going to go there tomorrow, 9 o'clock, and then Thursday at 9, we're all heading to Labadi.
Yes, we want artists to also try and participate.
Let's have a blast.
Because art is a business, so, they sit together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
GIPC Youth Entrepreneurs Forum. It's happening at Labadi Beach Hotel tomorrow and Thursday. We'll see you all there. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a great show. And I am Jifa Ekera Metam.
City TV.
Yes.